Discovery and awakening. The vastness of space had always called to Commander Elena Vega. As the captain of the UES Horizon, Earth's most advanced deep space exploration vessel, she had seen her fair share of cosmic wonders, but nothing had prepared her for what lay buried beneath the crimson dust of the uncharted planet designated XC-219. "Captain, you need to see this." Chief Engineer Maya Okafor's voice crackled through the comms. Her tone carried an unusual edge of excitement that made Elena straighten in her command chair. "Situation report, Chief," Elena replied, already rising to her feet. The ground-penetrating radar picked up something massive. I mean, absolutely massive. This isn't a natural formation. 30 minutes later, Elena stood at the edge of a vast excavation site. The expedition's automated mining drones had worked through the night, revealing what appeared to be the upper hull of an enormous vessel. The metal, if it could even be called that, gleamed with an iridescent sheen despite centuries of dust and neglect. "It's at least 3 kilometers long," reported Dr. Elijah Chen, the team's archaeologist. His dark eyes shone with unrestrained fascination. "And the alloy composition. It's unlike anything in our database. This isn't from any known spacefaring civilization." Elena studied the exposed section of hull. "How old?" "Preliminary carbon dating of the surrounding sediment suggests it's been here for at least 50,000 years, Chen replied, his voice hushed with reverence. "This predates every spacefaring species we've encountered by millennia." The decision to investigate further wasn't a difficult one. The Horizon's mission was to explore, to discover, to push the boundaries of human knowledge. Within days, they had uncovered what appeared to be an entrance, a massive airlock built for beings larger than humans. "Can we get it open?" Elena asked, running her gloved hand along the seamless metal door. Maya nodded confidently. "The structure still has residual power, barely detectable, but it's there. If I can interface with whatever passes for its control systems, we might be able to trigger the opening mechanism." It took 3 days of tireless work before Maya's efforts paid off. The airlock's doors parted with a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through their environmental suits. Beyond lay darkness so complete it seemed to swallow their flashlight beams. "Proceed with caution," Elena ordered as the team stepped through the threshold. "Full environmental protocols. We don't know what's waiting for us in there." The interior of the vessel defied expectation. Where they had anticipated cramped corridors and utilitarian spaces, they instead found vast chambers with soaring ceilings adorned with intricate patterns that seemed to shift subtly when viewed from different angles. The air was breathable, an unexpected surprise that their sensors confirmed after careful analysis. "It's maintaining a habitable environment after all this time," marveled Dr. Lyra Patel, the expedition's xenobiologist. The energy requirements alone would be astronomical. As they ventured deeper into the ship, they discovered what appeared to be a central command center, a cavernous space dominated by a raised platform, surrounded by interfaces that responded to their proximity with soft blue illumination. "It's reacting to us," Maya whispered, her dark fingers hovering over one of the glowing panels. "It's still active." Elena nodded cautiously. "Proceed, Chief, but be prepared to disengage at the first sign of trouble." Maya carefully placed her hands on the interface. The moment her skin made contact, the entire room surged to life. Holographic displays materialized from nowhere, filling the air with cascading symbols in an unknown language. A low, harmonious tone emanated from all around them, rising and falling in what almost sounded like speech. "It's communicating," Chen suggested, frantically recording everything with his equipment, or trying to. Then the symbols coalesced, rearranging themselves into recognizable patterns, then into Latin characters, and finally into words. "Neural interface, DETCTED, cum peta, nilite, he, cement, suboptimal, but viable, initiating synchronization protocols." A beam of azure light erupted from the central platform, enveloping Maya. She gasped, her body going rigid. Maya. Elena lunged forward, but was stopped by an invisible barrier. No harem intended, synchronization, required for communication. For several tense seconds, Maya remained frozen within the light. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the beam vanished. Maya collapsed to her knees, drawing ragged breaths. "Maya, are you all right?" Elena demanded, rushing to her side now that the barrier had disappeared. The engineer looked up, her eyes wide with wonder and confusion. I can hear it, Captain. In my head. It's called the Nemesis. It's a warship, the last of its kind." "A warship?" Elena echoed, a chill running down her spine. Maya nodded slowly. "Built by a species called the Arcadian Empire. They're gone now. Extinct for millennia. This ship is all that remains of their civilization." "Correct. IAMTA combat intelligence, designated Nemesis. IHFY in dormancy for 53,427 standard CYCLEs, awaiting compatible NURAL signatures." The words appeared not only on the holographic displays, but also seemed to resonate directly within their minds. "It was waiting," Maya continued, her voice distant, as if she were simultaneously listening to something else. "The Arcadians designed it to seek out compatible minds, if they themselves perished. It's been waiting all this time for someone who could wield it, and it thinks we're compatible." Dr. Chen asked incredulously. "Partial compatibility DTECTD. Human URL patterns demonstrate 62% QoNGURUENC with ARKAADIA and baseline, sufficient for basic operations." Maya slowly rose to her feet, her movements more fluid and deliberate than before. "It's offering itself to us, Captain. The Arcadians faced extinction at the hands of an enemy they called the Void Dominion. They built this ship as a last resort, a weapon of unimaginable power, but it was completed too late to save them." Elena's tactical mind immediately grasped the implications. Earth and its colonies were relatively new players on the galactic stage. Humanity had already faced hostility from several older spacefaring species who viewed their rapid expansion with alarm. A vessel like this could change everything, for better or worse. "What exactly can this ship do?" she asked carefully. The answer came not from Maya, but directly from the ship itself, manifesting as a series of holographic demonstrations that left the entire team speechless. The Nemesis wasn't merely a warship. It was a self-evolving weapons platform capable of adapting to any threat, drawing power directly from subspace and equipped with defensive and offensive capabilities centuries beyond anything humanity had developed. "I was designed to efface the impossible and prevail. I was built to ensure survival against all oddities." "Captain," Maya said, her voice now stronger and more certain. "The synchronization is strengthening. I can access more of its systems now. This ship, it's learning from us even as we learn from it. It's adapting its interfaces to better match human neurology." Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. New holographic displays materialized, showing the space around XC-219. Alert. Multiple vessels DTETTD entering system. Configuration MATCHIS RCHIVD profiles of Void Dominion Scout Fleet. The blood drained from Elena's face. The same enemy that destroyed the Arcadians. How is that possible after 50,000 years? The Void Dominion exists outside conventional temporal constraints. They do not experience time as linear entities do. "Captain," Maya said urgently, her eyes now glowing with the same blue luminescence as the ship's interfaces. The Nemesis believes they've detected its reactivation. They're coming to ensure it remains buried. Elena's mind raced. The Horizon was an exploration vessel, not a warship. Against an advanced alien fleet, they wouldn't stand a chance. But the alternative, attempting to utilize an ancient superweapon they barely understood, carried its own terrible risks. How long until they arrive? APPURXXIMATELY 16 STANDARDHOURS at QURRENT velocity. Elena made her decision. Chief Okafor, continue the synchronization process. Dr. Chen, Dr. Patel, gather all the data you can about this ship and its original creators. Lieutenant Rivera, return to the Horizon and prepare the crew for emergency evacuation procedures. We need options, people. As her team scattered to carry out their tasks, Elena stared at the holographic representation of the approaching fleet. Humanity had always prided itself on ingenuity and adaptability. Now those qualities would be tested as never before. The Nemesis had slumbered for 50 millennia, waiting for minds capable of wielding its power. It had found them in humans, imperfect matches, but perhaps exactly what was needed. Because while the Arcadians had built the ultimate weapon, they had lacked something humans possessed in abundance: the audacity to face impossible odds with unwavering determination. Show me everything you can do, Elena commanded the ancient warship. And then show me how we can do more. The response came not in words, but in a surge of connection that flowed through the command center and into the minds of every human present. The Nemesis hadn't just been waiting for new pilots, it had been waiting for evolution, for minds that would approach warfare differently than its creators had. It had been waiting for humanity. Power and responsibility. 16 hours wasn't nearly enough time to master a weapon of such complexity, but it was all they had. As the Void Dominion fleet approached XC-219, the Nemesis stirred from its millennia of slumber, systems activating one by one under Maya's guidance. Neural synchronization at 89%. Maya reported, her voice carrying an otherworldly timbre as the ship's consciousness partially merged with her own. The ship is teaching me, teaching all of us, how to operate its systems, but there's so much we still don't understand. Elena studied the tactical displays hovering in the air around her. The enemy fleet consisted of 7 vessels, each larger than Earth's most imposing dreadnoughts. Their hulls absorbed light rather than reflecting it, appearing as mobile voids against the backdrop of stars. "What are we facing, exactly?" she asked. The answer materialized in her mind directly from the Nemesis. The Void Dominion, it exists partially outside normal space. They seek to expand the entropy death of the universe, consuming all ordinary energy and converting it to their purified state of purified disorder. Their literal entropy personified. Dr. Chen translated for the benefit of the crew members without direct neural links to the ship. The ground of XC-219 shuddered and split as the immense vessel emerged, dust cascading from its hull in crimson waterfalls. The Nemesis was impossibly graceful for something of its size, its shape defying conventional aerospace engineering. It resembled a massive arrowhead carved from obsidian, edged with geometric patterns that pulsed with internal light. As the ship achieved orbit, they got their first visual confirmation of the approaching enemy. The Void Dominion vessels seemed to bend light around them, their forms difficult for human eyes to focus on. They moved with perfect coordination, spreading out to surround the Nemesis. Enemy targting systems ilosiking. We upon signatures DTKTE. They will fire in 15 seconds. Return fire, Elena asked, gripping the edge of a console. Maya, or the being Maya had become, shook her head. Not yet. Let them make the first move. There's something I want to try. The Void Dominion didn't hesitate. 7 beams of absolute darkness lanced toward the Nemesis, visible only by the absence of stars they created as they crossed space. Maya raised her hand, and the ship responded as if it were an extension of her body. A translucent field shimmered around the Nemesis, catching the enemy weapon's fire and, impossibly, absorbing it. The Arcadians designed this ship to fight entropy itself, Maya explained, her voice calm despite the tremendous energy she was controlling. The Void Dominion weapons are based on accelerated entropy, but the Nemesis can reverse the process, converting their attacks back into usable energy. Elena watched in amazement as the absorbed energy flowed through the ship's systems, the geometric patterns along its hull glowing more intensely. "We can use their own weapons against them," Maya continued. "But I've discovered something the Arcadians never realized. The ship doesn't have to destroy the Void Dominion. It can transform them." Transform them? How? The Arcadians were brilliant engineers but limited tacticians. They thought only in terms of destruction. Humans think differently. We see possibilities where they saw only threats. Maya's eyes blazed with inner light. The Void Dominion exists to increase entropy. But what if we could reverse their nature? Convert them from agents of disorder to agents of creation? Before Elena could process this revelation, the enemy fleet launched a second, more coordinated attack. This time, the darkness that streamed toward them seemed to tear at the fabric of reality itself. Maya didn't merely defend, she counterattacked. The Nemesis responded to her will, sending forth beams of radiant energy that intercepted the darkness. Where they met, space itself seemed to fold and unfold, creating patterns of impossible geometry. "What are you doing?" Elena demanded, struggling to comprehend the cosmic forces at play before her. "Rewriting their fundamental nature," Maya replied, her concentration absolute. The Nemesis was designed to manipulate the basic laws of physics within a localized area. I'm using that capability to invert the Void Dominion's entropic nature. The battle that followed defied description in human language. It was fought not merely with weapons, but with the underlying rules of reality. The Void Dominion vessels twisted and distorted as they attempted to escape the Nemesis's influence, but Maya pursued them relentlessly. Her consciousness expanded beyond human limits by the ancient ship systems. One by one, the enemy vessels succumbed. Rather than being destroyed, they transformed, their light-absorbing hulls gradually shifting to emit a soft, pearlescent glow. The process spread from ship to ship, a cascade of fundamental change that rewrote the very essence of what they were. When it was over, 7 transformed vessels hung in space around the Nemesis, their appearances entirely altered. "What did you do to them?" Elena asked in hushed tones. "I inverted their purpose," Maya explained, her voice weary but triumphant. "Where they once served entropy, they now serve creation. They'll return to their dimension as agents of order rather than chaos." As if in confirmation, the transformed fleet began to move away, accelerating until they vanished from normal space altogether. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They had not merely defended themselves. They had fundamentally changed an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. "The Arcadians built this ship as the ultimate weapon," Maya said softly. "But they never imagined it could be used to transform rather than destroy. That's the human element they couldn't anticipate." Elena studied her chief engineer, this hybrid of human and ancient technology, with concern. "And you? Can you be transformed back to who you were?" Maya smiled gently. "I don't think so. And I'm not sure I would want to be. I understand things now that no human ever has. With the Nemesis, I can explore realms of existence we never knew existed." "So what happens now?" Elena asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. "Now," Maya replied, "we bring this ship home to Earth, not as a weapon of war, but as a vessel of transformation. The Void Dominion was just one threat among many in this universe. With the Nemesis, humanity can face them all, not to conquer or destroy, but to change and elevate." The Nemesis turned its bow toward Earth, 50 light-years distant. As it prepared to depart, Maya shared with Elena one final insight from her expanded consciousness. The Arcadians created the ultimate weapon, but failed because they could only see destruction as the answer to their problems. Humans succeeded where they failed because we saw beyond destruction to transformation. That's humanity's true strength, not our technology or our weapons, but our capacity to imagine a better way. As the ancient warship slipped into faster-than-light travel, Elena pondered those words. Humanity had always been defined by its contradictions, capable of terrible violence, yet also profound compassion, driven by fear yet guided by hope. Perhaps that was why the Nemesis had awakened for them after so many millennia of slumber. The ship hadn't been waiting for perfect warriors. It had been waiting for beings who could see beyond war itself. And it had found them in humanity.